Hello and welcome to another Luna and Realta video. Today I will be showing you how to make a concrete flower pot. First of all, we add 1 pot of sand and make sure to mix it around. Then add your concrete on top, it's white Portland cement. Then make sure you mix it in together and mix it around. Keep doing that until you're happy with your mix. I'm also wearing a mask while I'm doing this just so I don't inhale the Portland cement because it's not great for you to inhale. I'm also wearing gloves to stop cement coming in contact with my skin because it is a bit of a skin irritant and it isn't good for your skin. For this mixture I'm using 1 tub of Portland cement and 1 tub of sand and also half to quarter a tub of water. Now I'm going to add a small bit of water and make sure to mix this in with my hands, then add a little bit more and make sure to get down to the bottom of the bucket to make sure there's no sand underneath there and make sure it's all mixed in, flip it around, kind of like you're making scones. Here I am kind of turning the cement around from the bottom to the top to make sure it's thoroughly wet and soaked. Now that I'm happy with my mix, I'm going to get it out with a spoon. You can use whatever you want, I just found the spoon, it was the handiest thing to use. So I'm going to get a few spoonfuls of this and pour it into the mould. Now I'm just scooping a few bits of cement out on top of the mould and just patting it into the mould. Now I've only put a few spoonfuls of cement in and I'm going to use a sports massager and this will vibrate the cement down to the bottom of the mould. And you see it goes in really easily. Once you scoop a bit of cement in, it just kind of takes it in and vibrates it around and gets rid of the air bubbles. This is a really important part if you don't want any cracks in your mould or any bubbles in your mould. Now I'm just doing a few finishing touches, making sure the mould is properly full and vibrating the sides of it to get all the last little bit of air bubbles out. I've grown 3 hands as you can see. Now to finish off the mould I'm just going to give it a good bash, get the rest of the air bubbles out. I don't think there is any really because the vibrating massager has kind of helped it. Now I'm just going to fill a few more moulds. This is kind of a sign mould so I'm not really using the massager on it. I'm just making sure to put a layer on and make sure to kind of bash it down into the lettering to make sure there's no kind of gaps in the lettering. I put on kind of half a layer. I'm going to give it a good shake. I'm going to shake it side to side and then I'm going to shake it forwards and then up and down as well. And this kind of smooths out itself. Now I'm going to add in the next layer of cement and you just kind of, it doesn't really matter where you throw it on, you can just throw it on and then once you shake it, it kind of just folds into itself and fills up the mould. It's not completely full, so I'm going to add a little bit more just to even it out. Just smooth it out on the top if you want and then give it a bit of a shake and it should be good to go. And leave that set for about 24 hours. See how it is after then and leave it for a little bit longer if you think it needs more time. I'm just giving it a good shake there and I think it is good to go. So I'm just going to scrape the bottom of the bucket and as you can see there's kind of some sand stuck in the corners of the bucket. So what I'm doing with that is just getting it, scooping it up to the side and putting it back into the cement and giving it a good mix around so nothing goes to waste. Now I've added the final bits to the mould and it's looking fine and ready to go, so I'm just going to leave that to set. And here it is after it has set. I'm just going to push the sides of the mould down and then I'm going to flip it upside down. This is the easiest way for me to get it out. And then ta-da, we have a nice concrete mould. And there's no air bubbles as well, it worked out really well. You can see just you can't really see any air bubbles in the lettering because the way I've shaken it. Here is the demolding of the concrete flower pot. You can see this mold is a little bit difficult to get stuff out of, but it's worked pretty well and it's looking so good so far, so I'm just gonna struggle a little bit with this mold and you'll see it when it comes out. And here's the concrete flower pot mold. I'm really happy with how this turned out. There is no air bubbles, no cracks in it, no nothing. So it's turned out pretty much perfect because I used a vibrating massager on it, and I really recommend using this if you want to prevent air bubbles. This is the final product, so I'm really happy with it. Here's another one that I did where I coloured it. Thanks so much for watching and please subscribe to our channel and see you again.